Welcome into Bombers Live. I'm your host, Brennan Miller, and today a very special guest joins us. It is senior from the Ithaca golf team, Sophia Israel. Sophia, with a scoring average of 83.83 and a low 18 of 77. We are very excited to have you here. Obviously, name the stats, but we're here to find the person behind the stats. So how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I mean, thank you for having me. This is one of the first TV interviews I've ever done, so I'm really excited and I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. We're excited to have you here. So I'd like to do these in a little bit of a chronological order, go alongside the Untold Athletes. So let's start with you going into high school. You mentioned in your Untold Athletes you had to pick between golf and swimming. So could you tell me why that was just a little bit of a difficult decision for you?
I have been a multi-sport athlete my entire life. I played, softball, soccer, swimming, t-ball, all the different types of sports. And I really had to choose between golf and swimming. And it was difficult because I really did love to swim. I knew I might have had a future there, but I knew I really had a good chance with golf. And I've been golfing since I was 3 or 4 years old. My mom loves to say I was born with a golf club in my hand, and I think it's true. But, once I made that decision, I knew it was the right one. And although there are some days where I'm like, maybe I could have been a good swimmer, I am more than happy with the decision I made with golf right now.
So talking about golf, just more in general, it is like the mental game. And not to brag, I do shoot under 100 on
Very nice.
18. So thank you.
That's really good.
So it's the mental game. So talk about, taking some of the aspects of that and being able to, get over a bad shot, if you have one, and taking that into real life.
It was definitely something I had to learn because coming into college, I, always tried to be that perfectionist, but I realized that if you have a bad shot, you have a bad shot. It's not going to ruin your day. It's certainly not going to ruin your round, and it only will if you let it. So taking that into real life, you can't let one tiny bad thing mess with your entire day, because if you do, you're not going to get far in life and you're going to be miserable, and I don't want to be miserable. So I just wanted to take it day by day. My one motto is shot by shot, because I always have bad shots every once in a while, and you just have to get over that hump and go on with your day. And that is literally with anything else in life too. So day by day, shot by shot, that's what I try to live by.
Absolutely love that. I want to talk about, because obviously golf is an individual sport, but there is a team aspect when you're in college athletics. And looking back, because obviously I have to do my research, you were on a team with someone named Indiana Jones, which is the most incredible name I've ever heard. But tell me a little bit about the team aspect of golf, because obviously being an individual, it changes when you get into a team setting.
Right. Well, I mean, it is very individual, but the team aspect is just as big because we're with each other all the time. We're constantly talking. And even when we're out on the course, we're all in different groups usually. This season's a little different because of COVID. We're actually all together. So it's nice to walk with my teammates. But, being on a team has its similarities with every sport, and then it obviously has its differences because, like you said, golf is so individual, but that team aspect is so important because, like I said, we're together, we train together, lift together. I even live with one of my teammates now, and it's great. And I've been living with a teammate since my sophomore year. And having that team aspect is really important because it really helps us bond. And then it gives you that certain mental strength that, you have that support system when you're done. So especially on the course, if you have a bad shot, bad round, you'll always have that unconditional support and love for your teammates, and it's very important and it's really fun.
I just hope being on a team with Indiana Jones, you didn't have to deal with any snakes or boulders or anything like that.
She was the best. I love Indy. She was awesome. I remember she knows a family friend of mine, and when I was looking at colleges, they said, "Oh, Indiana Jones from the Ithaca golf team," and I was like, "You gotta be kidding me with that name," but they weren't, and she is the best, and I love her and I miss her dearly. But she was the protector of this team for sure.
Awesome. Let's move on a little bit because golf, one of the sports, and obviously you're in the universe of golf. Golf was one of the things that didn't really decline in popularity once the pandemic started. I'd even argue that it increased with it being one of the only things that people could do. So why do you think so many people kind of gravitated toward the sport? And then to follow up on that, why do you think so many people have stuck with it after things have started to reopen?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I mean, I remember when the pandemic started, my dad and I golf all the time, and we would still go out and be safe and all that. But there were a lot more people
Yeah.
than there ever was. And I think just with it being outside, and it's probably the easiest sport to social distance, um, I think that is the main reason. And like, as hard as it can be, it's an easy sport to pick up. You just, get a club or two and then go find a ball and hit it around. And then if you like it, go get a set and go out and play. Like, it's such an accessible sport. And, you know, I really think just being outside was the main reason, because everyone was stuck in their houses.
Yep.
They needed an outlet. And I think people realize that, it can be a fun game. And especially with it getting nicer and like, being vaccinated, I really think people are going to stick with it, because I think they found that love for that game, especially if they didn't golf before. So, and the popularity of it, I think, is rising. Tiger Woods, even though he's injured now, but him winning really helped.
Hmm.
Hideki Matsuyama winning is going to be really cool too. So I think, popularity wise, it's going to continue to grow. And it really has to do with it being outside and being very accessible to play.
Yeah, and I think with one of the things that goes alongside, obviously we have a general numbers increase in people playing, but that is also leads to a rise in women playing the sport as well. So what do you think that means, for the future of the sport, or even right now as you see the number of women playing golf go up?
I think it's great. I mean, I'm from Pennsylvania, and the number of women golfers, especially where I'm from in the Lehigh Valley, has risen exponentially, and it's been great. I mean, I think, like I said, it's an accessible sport, and a lot of people are starting to take it more seriously, especially in the women's game. And I don't think people realize that there are so many incredible and wonderful women golfers out there that kick butt every single week. And I really think that there are a lot out there on the tour now, especially, that are incredible mentors to young girls. Um, Lexi Thompson is just one of my idols, and I know she really pertains to the younger group as well. And there are just so many others. And it's like that with any women's sport. I think we're really on the rise, and it's very exciting to see. And, I think it's about time. I think it's nice to finally have that, respect and recognition. And it's just so exciting. I'm really excited for the future of it, and I think it's going to continue to grow.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to read this quote because you put it in your Untold Athletes
Mhm.
article, and I think that it really does speak to what you just said. And it's, I hope that one day we reach that level of equality and respect. There is still an obvious divide that will continue to cause problems until it's fixed. I hope that it's sooner rather than later, so we can create more safe spaces and welcome environments for all.
Mm.
Excuse me. And obviously, you know what it's like being a woman in what is a predominantly male-dominated sport. So, could you
Mhm.
talk a little bit about that and
Yeah.
being in a sport that is really started as a men's sport, but has since grown to be pretty equal.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think for me, it started way back when I was born. I was the first girl born in my dad's side of the family in like 55 years. So I've always been a part of that boys club. And especially in high school, I was the only girl on my co-ed team until my senior year. And then we had another girl. So there was just the two of us. And, again, I think growing up with my brothers and my cousins, my brother and my cousins, I only have one brother, it really helped me like prepare for that, because it kind of can be a boys club. And I have never been on a team of all women until I got to college. And it kind of was a culture shock. I mean, I wasn't used to like being with all these girls. And I've learned to, come accustomed to it, and it's great now, but it was it was a change. And, you know, it wasn't that big of a change. I'm glad I, grew up the way I did, and I'm glad I'm having the experiences I did now. But like we were saying, the rise of women's sports is, on the up and up, and
Hmm.
it's so incredible to see all these, new women athletes come to terms like with everything, trying new things, trying new sports they wouldn't have. I come from a very big wrestling family,
Hmm.
and seeing all of the new like girls teams coming about, especially in high school, has been great. And I really think we're starting to embrace the.
You're leading me right into my next question here, because that was what I was going to ask next, is about your cousin, who was an Ithaca alum and All-American wrestler for Ithaca College. So, obviously you're familiar with the school, familiar with the athletics program. So what was it like coming to a school where someone in your family has been so successful?
I mean, it's great. It's funny. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. 4 or 5 total cousins go to Ithaca College, so it was always in the back of my mind.
Uh-huh.
You know, Seeing what my cousin Mark has done has been remarkable. I mean, you know, from being an All-American, graduating in 2005, finding his way back to Ithaca and now working for them.
Yep.
It's been really great. And I remember looking at colleges, I wanted that family type of aspect. And I obviously got it because I'm really close with Mark and his wife and his 2 girls and his little foster son. And, it's been awesome. I had that inside look at Ithaca right from the beginning. And even when I started, I did not know I would end up here. But
Right.
I think in the back of my mind, I did. Like, I know I had that like, unconscious thought of, I'll probably end up here. And then once I figured out what major I wanted at the time and, playing golf, having that opportunity, it was so easy for me to pick.
Yeah, and that major, you're really just setting me up here, and I'm absolutely loving it because I was going to ask about academics next and your major. Let's see, I have it written down. You are a business administration major with a concentration in sports management. So that is an incredibly long title and much longer than my sports media. Tell me a little bit about that and finding a balance between academics and athletics.
Well, it's funny. I actually came into Ithaca with a major in sport media.
Nice.
So
yes.
I totally understand it. I switched majors like about halfway through, but I know I missed the Park School. I missed all you guys there, and it was great. But finding that balance, it was pretty easy. You get that question a lot, especially as a student athlete, and a lot of people that I've talked to, especially from Ithaca, we all say the same thing. It wasn't as hard as we thought. I mean, we had such a set schedule and like set guidelines that we already knew to follow, and all the advice that we got from like the upperclassmen, our other peers, it was pretty easy. So the balance wasn't too bad. When I switched majors, it was a little tough because I had to catch up on like financial accounting, calculus, all classes that I'm not very good at.
Yeah, stuff Parkies don't usually do.
Exactly. Yeah, that was a shock. That was fun to deal with. But, you just have to find that balance and acclimate to things. And, it wasn't that bad. And looking back on it, I did the best I could, and I'm really happy with that. So the balance isn't all that bad. Time management is a valuable and wonderful skill, and still trying to learn it a little bit, but it was pretty good. It wasn't.
Aren't we all, right? So, just want to ask you, and this is what we'll wrap up on. We obviously care about Ithaca athletes and what they go on to do in the future. So what is in the future for you?
Well, a couple things. I mean, I'll be working with Cornell Athletics. I'll be doing their summer camps, their Cubs camps for like 7 weeks straight. And then it's not set in stone yet, but I will be doing a 10-month internship, post-grad internship in their ticketing office, which I'm already familiar with before COVID happened, unfortunately. I was already in their ticketing office doing a student internship, and it was awesome. And they're being very welcoming and giving me this opportunity. So, I'll still be up here for at least a year, hopefully longer. So we'll see.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you coming on. Obviously a big thank you to you. And I hope you had a good time.
I did. Thank you so much. This was great. I really did have a fun time. This was awesome.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. We'd like to say a big thank you to everyone who helped make this happen behind the scenes. Another big thank you to Sophia Israel for coming on and joining us for this episode of Bombers Live. I've been Brennan Miller. This has been Bombers Live. Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to check us out on our Twitter and our Instagram at ICTV607 and at ICTV607 Sports. Tune in next time for Bombers Live.